There is a kind of morning on the farmland when everything feels quietly right. The air is still cool, the light comes in soft and golden through the leaves. And the pepper plants, surrounded by their gentle companions, stand full and abundant, heavy with fruit, calm in the way that only a truly settled garden can be. This is what we are working toward together, not a garden that demands constant attention, not a bed that fights you all season long, but a living, breathing space that grows stronger and more giving with every year that passes. Perhaps you have grown peppers before and found them more fragile than you hoped. Perhaps the aphids found them first, or the plants looked pale and thin in soil that felt empty and tired. Perhaps you spent long hours trying to protect something that never quite thrived the way you imagined. What we have learned here at Quietfarmland is that the struggle often comes not from the pepper itself, but from the loneliness of the bed. When a pepper plant stands alone in bare soil, it carries every burden by itself. But when it is quietly surrounded by the right companions, plants that protect, enrich, and support without any fuss, everything changes. The garden begins to work for you, and it gets better season after season almost entirely on its own. This is the heart of companion planting, and today we are going to walk through it together. At Quietfarmland, we hold a simple and deep belief. We do not fight nature, we observe it, we allow it. We work gently alongside it until the garden finds its own steady rhythm. When you plant companions thoughtfully around your peppers, you are not just solving a short-term problem, you are building a self-sustaining ecosystem. A quiet community of plants that shields itself from pests, draws in the insects that help rather than harm, holds moisture in the soil during dry weeks, and slowly, season by season, enriches the earth beneath your feet. In the quiet harmony of the farmland, these things happen without you having to force them. Roots loosen the ground beneath, flowers call in the pollinators, scents drift through the rows and confuse the insects that would otherwise settle in. The soil grows richer, the plants grow stronger, and you simply observe, tend a little, and let the garden work for you. With patient observation, the bed reveals its strength. It does not happen all at once, but over seasons the reward becomes clear and lasting. Let us begin with the companion that sits closest to the pepper plant's heart. Basil is the quiet guardian of the pepper bed. It asks for very little and gives a great deal in return. When planted close, tucked right at the base of your pepper plants, basil creates a gentle aromatic shield. Its oils drift through the air and confuse the aphids and spider mites that would otherwise find your peppers irresistible. They land, sense something unfamiliar, and move on. But basil offers more than protection. In the way that slow and quiet things often work best, many gardeners over time have noticed something tender and surprising: that peppers grown long beside basil seem to carry a slightly deeper, richer flavor. Whether the roots share something subtle in the soil or whether it is simply the harmony of two plants thriving together, the result is a pepper worth tasting slowly. Plant basil generously, let it fill the spaces between your peppers, do not worry about keeping it too neat. A little looseness here is welcome. Nature moves quietly in harmony and basil knows exactly what to do. Just beyond the basil, let the marigolds take their place. French marigolds especially are among the most faithful companions a pepper grower can invite into the bed. Their bright and cheerful faces bring color, but their most important work happens where you cannot see it, in the soil beneath. The roots of French marigolds release compounds that suppress nematodes, the tiny soil-dwelling creatures that damage pepper roots and weaken plants silently over time. Above ground, their scent drifts through the bed and discourages whiteflies and aphids from settling in. Plant them as a living border around your pepper bed, or tuck them in as accents among the rows. Year after year, as they reseed and return, the soil around your peppers becomes a quieter, safer place. This quiet alliance rewards us year after year with almost no extra work. Now let us move to the aromatic sentinels, the onions, the garlic, and the chives. These are the quiet ones that stand their ground through the seasons. Their scent is strong and particular, and to many garden pests it is deeply unwelcoming. Planted throughout the pepper bed, they create a natural barrier. a scent landscape that makes the whole area feel less hospitable to the insects and creatures that cause harm. Garlic and onions work through the season and then rest, but chives offer something more continuous. They return year after year without being asked. And when they flower, those small purple blooms nodding gently in the breeze, they become a quiet beacon for pollinators. Bees and beneficial insects find them and linger in the bed, and while they are visiting the chives, they move among the peppers as well. Better pollination, more fruit, deeper roots over time. In the quiet harmony of the farmland, even the smallest flower plays its part. A little further out, let the cilantro and dill find their place in the design. These are the plants that bloom with a kind of joyful wildness, and in their blooming they do something generous they call in the helpers. Lacewings, parasitic wasps, hoverflies, the insects that prey on aphids and other pests. When cilantro bolts and opens its delicate white flowers to the air, it becomes a landing place for these quiet allies. Dill does the same, its feathery yellow tops catching the light and drawing life into the bed. Let them go to flower, resist the urge to cut them back too early. Their usefulness deepens when they bloom. And in the following season they will return from seed, quietly taking their place again without any intervention from you. Let the garden work for you. Along the edges of the bed, let the nasturtiums spill and climb with their warm, round leaves and their vivid blooms of orange and gold. Nasturtiums are what gardeners call a trap crop. Aphids are drawn to them, they love the soft stems and the tender growth, and so they gather there instead of on your pepper plants. The nasturtiums sacrifice themselves gladly, and in doing so, they keep the pressure off the plants that matter most to you. And all the while, they are beautiful. They add a kind of cheerful abundance to the bed that makes the whole garden feel generous and alive. Beneath the surface of the bed, something quieter is happening. Carrots planted among your peppers work without any fanfare. Their long, slender roots press gently down through the soil, loosening compaction, creating small channels through which water and air can move more freely. Above ground, their feathery tops provide a kind of living mulch, shade for the soil, a little shelter from the drying heat of summer. They ask for nothing. They simply improve the ground around them season after season in peaceful partnership with the roots of the peppers beside them. Let them grow together and observe how the soil shifts over time. Now let us speak of the fragrant ground covers, the oregano, the thyme, and the lavender. These aromatic herbs spread low and easy across the ground. Their scents are complex and layered and deeply unwelcoming to many common pests. Planted at the edges between rows or allowed to spill over the borders of the bed, they create a living tapestry of scent that guards the whole space. Bees love them deeply, and where bees come, abundance tends to follow. And as perennials, they return each year stronger than before, filling in the spaces, building density and diversity into the bed without any effort from you. With patient observation, the bed reveals its strength, and these quiet herbs are part of that strength, showing themselves more fully with every passing season. Finally, let us welcome borage, the generous one. Borage grows tall and a little wild, with star-like blue flowers that hang in loose clusters and seem almost to glow in the morning light. Bees find it irresistible. They come from a great distance to visit those flowers, and while they are in the bed, they move through the peppers, carrying pollen, encouraging better fruit set, deeper and more abundant harvests. Borage also gives back to the soil as it decomposes, adding trace minerals and organic matter to the ground below. It reseeds itself year after year with no help at all, returning each spring like a faithful friend. In the quiet harmony of the farmland, borage is one of the most quietly generous plants you can invite in. Now over time, something beautiful begins to happen. You start to notice the difference not in one grand moment, but in small and steady accumulations. A season passes and the aphids are fewer. Another passes and the soil feels darker and looser in your hands. The peppers set more fruit. The plants look settled in a way they never did before, rooted deeply, holding their color even through dry weeks, quiet and strong. You have been doing so little, a little rotation each year, a handful of compost, a few new seeds tucked into the open spaces, and yet the bed has been doing a great deal. The self-sustaining ecosystem you began building with patience and trust has started to carry its own weight. It remembers what you planted. It builds on what came before. This quiet alliance rewards us year after year with almost no extra work. The joy of this kind of gardening is not the dramatic intervention. It is the quiet morning when you walk the rows and simply see that everything is doing well on its own. Step back a little, observe more. The bed will show you what it needs, and more often than not, it needs less than you fear and gives more than you hope. So this season, begin simply. Choose one or two companions and plant them close. Let the basil grow in the warmth of the pepper's shadow. Let the marigolds edge the bed with color and quiet protection. Let the chives return on their own in spring and flower freely. Watch what comes. You do not need to transform everything at once. Nature moves quietly in harmony, and the garden builds itself gently, season by season, when we allow it to. This is the quiet farmland way, not urgency, not force, but patient, loving attention and the deep, lasting abundance that grows from it. Come back and walk these rows with us again soon. There is always more to see when we slow down enough to look.